Okay, so I did a video not too long ago called Am I Too Gay? This one is called Am I Not Gay Enough? And basically, I want to be able to talk about identity. And I've talked about labels and identity before, but I'm kind of interested in identity and how it shapes who you are. So the title, Am I Not Gay Enough? Basically, I have encountered people recently who are pretty surprised that I'm gay and that I don't fit the labels and I don't fit the stereotypes. And so I think it's an interesting question. Like, should I, and obviously the answer is going to be no, but should I try and be more gay? Should I try and be more stereotypically gay to, fit some category that people want to put me into? And I wonder how many people in our world, in our society, do that. How many people act a certain way, like a certain type of music, like a certain type of sport, just because they have to fit that label? How many people in our world have decided that they are going to live by their identity and they've never stopped to ask, like, do I actually like this? Am I actually interested in this? Like, how many people do things just because it fits their image, it fits their identity? And that's kind of a scary idea, right? Because it's scary to think that, like, you've spent a huge part of your life trying to fit some identity that doesn't actually describe you perfectly, because no identity is going to fit you perfectly. Every gay man is going to like something that is very unstereotypically um gay. Like, it's like every gay man likes, like, there might be gay guys who are super feminine, super into fashion, but they like screamo death metal music. But maybe they hide that part of themselves, or they reject it because it doesn't fit their identity, it doesn't fit their label. And that's really sad. Like, that's actually, like, very sad to think about, that, like, in order to fit some identity, you actively refuse part of yourself. And it's the exact same as if you were in the closet. Because when you're in the closet, you are trying to fit the identity of a straight guy or a straight girl or a straight person. And you are rejecting part of yourself because you're worried about what people will think and you don't want it to conflict with your identity, you know, which is pretty deep. And we know that being in the closet is really detrimental to your stress levels, to your cortisol levels. It's really detrimental to just your whole well being. It's not a good situation, right? And you could take that even further, because internalized homophobia is a conflict between your perceived identity and who you really are, right? Like, if you have internalized homophobia and you kind of hate being gay and you hate gay everything, but you're gay, like, that's internalized homophobia. Like, it's literally just a conflict of your identity, which is wild to think about. And look how harmful that is. I mean, they've done psychological research on this stuff. This is detrimental to people's health. So, isn't that crazy? So going back to the title, am I not gay enough? I don't think so. Um, I'm happy with who I am. I'm a gay farmer. I think you can have multiple identities, and maybe that's the trick, is to just like what you like and be who you want to be. Because the idea that you have to fit some narrative or some structure of being, like, who says? Who says you need to fit something? If you are 50 years old and you want to go back to school, you want to go back to college to become a nurse or something, why shouldn't you? Maybe your identity says, like, no, I'm too old for that. Like, I couldn't. Why? Who says? I completely rally against the idea that age plays a factor in your identity, and it really shouldn't shape who you are, and it shouldn't prevent you from doing the things that you want to do, you know? Um, Man, this is kind of interesting. I'm just like thinking about identity and all the little things. Like as children, your identity is shaped largely by your parents and what your parents decide to dress you in, what they decide to give you as toys, the friends you interact with, the TV shows that are put on for you. And your identity is like slowly started to shape like that. You know, I can remember being on the farm as a little kid, as a very little kid, and like my mom dressed me up in very farmer clothes, you know, cute little farm boy clothes, and like very much dressed me up like that. And a lot of the shows I watched were about like farming and machines and like trains and tractors and boats. And you know, there was this show called Mighty Machines, and it was this show where these giant machines would talk to kids like throughout the show. Like it would be like a garbage truck, and a garbage truck would have a voice. They're just filming a garbage truck, and the garbage truck would have a voice, and it would be like, "Hey kids, welcome. I'm Larry the garbage truck, and I'm gonna show you what I do today." And then you would follow this garbage truck around, and it would just film, and he would like talk to the kids watching the show. And I was obsessed with this show. I loved it so much. There were airplanes and garbage trucks and trains and tractors and all kinds of amazing stuff like that. And as a little boy, I was just obsessed with it, and it really shaped my identity because it was like, you know, I'm a farm boy. I live on the farm with mom and dad, and I'm really into trains and trucks and tractors and machines, and I want to play on trucks and tractors all day. And I got super interested in like how the engines were constructed and all of this stuff. But really, it wasn't that I was interested in it innately. It was that it was put in front of me as this cool, interesting thing, and it shaped my identity. So it's like that's kind of crazy to think about that, like, because I was this little boy and my parents had this conception of what a little boy should be interested in, that's exactly what I became interested in. You know, I was so into that. I remember like we did not watch girl shows, you know, like I had a little brother, and so everything was like trains, trucks, tractors, boy things, you know, soldiers, warriors, all of that stuff. And that like completely shaped my identity as a little kid. Whereas maybe if I had been exposed to a wide ranging, you know, thing, maybe I would have been like more gay presenting, or maybe, you know, like it begs the question like what if? And I know like you're not supposed to ask like what ifs because it they don't exist, but it's an interesting thought experiment, right? How your perception is shaped and how your identity is shaped by what is in front of you. That's wild. So maybe that's why I'm not gay enough. Thanks, mom and dad. I'm kidding. I love you guys. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think I don't think you have to be gay presenting to be gay. Um, you know, there's a lot of people who don't let sexual identity affect their personal identity. And that's kind of awesome. That's kind of nice that you can just be who you want to be, and you don't have to fit some stereotype. It goes back to the why I hate labels video. Like basically just being like, I don't like labels because you have to fit some stupid narrow definition, and that's dumb. It's kind of the same thing because your identity is a little bit bigger than labels, because your identity is like how you see yourself, not necessarily like the labels that other people give you because of how you present. Yeah. So it's identity is a lot more internal, and it's a lot more like self view of yourself. So I think identity is a lot more important to get right um than your labels, because who cares what other people think, you know? Like who cares? You think like I'm a flaming homosexual? Okay, cool. Like that's your opinion. Like I don't care what you think. I don't care what this person thinks. I care what you guys think, but like not what like some random person thinks. But my identity, I very much see myself as like a farm kid, you know? Like that's a huge part of my identity. I live on a farm now. I've always grown up on a farm. And so it definitely like shapes who I am. And like when I go to the city, I tend to dress up like a cowboy, because and like most of the time at the farm here, I don't even dress up like a cowboy. Like I wear my cowboy hat, but I won't dress up in the full cowboy stuff with my boots and everything. But when I go to the city, I want people to know that this is part of my identity. And so I'll go out to like a club or something in my full farm boy, cowboy, big belt buckle. I'll go out like that because I'm like, this is my identity. This is how I want to be perceived. That's actually so interesting that I do that. Like a psychologist could have a field day with me and just be like, so why do you feel the need to like project your identity when you're in the city? And it's probably because like I very much identify as a farm kid and I don't want to be misidentified as just another like city guy, because I'm like, no, I'm different. I'm special. I'm a farm kid. Um, you know? And like I get that with a lot of different like you throughout your life you will always have multiple identities. And like not necessarily multiple personalities, but you'll have multiple identities, right? Like I'm a farm kid, but I'm also gay. But I'm also like a university graduate. But I'm also this and I'm also this and I'm also this. So like it's sort of like you're grappling with your multiple identities and you're trying to, I guess you're trying to be real. Like you really want to like have an authentic identity. So I guess when you go back to the question of like, am I gay enough? It's like, well, you probably don't present as much as how gay you are or how gay I am, but I present it enough that I'm comfortable with it. And I think at the end of the day, that's probably the most important thing, is that I'm comfortable presenting the way I present and identifying the way I identify. So nothing else really like should affect it or matter in the grand scheme of things, I guess. Interesting topic. I think a very interesting topic. I like the fact that the first video I did was, am I too gay? And now it's like, am I not gay enough? What do you people want? But yeah, let me know what you think, gay or straight, whatever you identify as. Let me know. What do you think? Identity and its role in how we act in society with other people, with your friends, with your family. I'm also wearing this because it's a little chilly. Winter is coming. I know it's like the middle of August, but you can definitely feel it in Canada. Oh gosh, it's coming. Anyway, guys, I love you lots. I hope you have a beautiful day. I hope you identify as whatever you want to be and you don't let anybody try to like tell you how you should act or what you should do. So yeah, you're just gay enough. I guess is the solution to my question. I'm just Jack. But yeah, thank you for watching. And as always, I will talk to you guys tomorrow.